to the aforementioned Tom Mulcair. He is CTV's political commentator and the former leader of the NDP. He is joining us this morning. Good to see you, Tom.
Good to be with you, Marcia.
So you heard what Singh had to say. Clarify your position. Do you stand by it? What do you think? I know you wrote an article for CTV.ca on this very matter. So give us your take.
Well, what I do in my line of work is I analyze and I comment. And I don't tell people how to vote, but I look at what's happening. And what's happening is that the NDP in all the recent polling is in single digits, and that could mean the wipeout of the party, certainly the loss of party status unless things turn around. Same thing for the Greens. You know, progressives are looking at this as an election quite different from many other. And when I was the leader of the NDP, I used to hate it when I would hear Liberals say, don't split the vote, as if they were entitled to the vote. And, you know, anything else was an anomaly. But in this election, what's happening is that people are looking at the NDP, and they've been talking to me, by the way, you know, senior NDP people saying, this time around, I'm just voting Liberal. And I'm hearing the same thing from Greens. And I'm hearing the same thing, in fact, across the country, which is, it is a dual election, a two-horse race. It's coming down to that, and everybody else is just going to get pushed out of the way. By the way, it's not just the Greens and the NDP who are feeling this. In Quebec, the Bloc Québécois is in freefall. And Carney, despite all the problems that he's had there, I mean, this week, the bizarre cancellation of their intended participation in the most important debate that takes place in French. It's called the face-à-face debate on the TVA network. Full disclosure, I worked there on that French network. But it was a bizarre decision. And, you know, Yves-François Blanchet really thought he had Carney in the crosshairs, and Carney's just rising above it. And that's what he should be doing, by the way. You know, in that clip that you gave of, you know, about Nathalie Provost, I mean, what's he doing with that sort of detail? Why is he even talking about that? I've been noticing that the staff around him seem to be very unseasoned, giving him that type of information that is just throwing a banana peel at his feet. Why would he even go into that sort of detail? And he's trying to remember, you know, he knew it had something to do with the shooting, and there was a shooting at Concordia, by the way, another tragedy. But I mean, it's the type of mistake that is an own goal. And we saw it yesterday. You know, it's almost as if the ones around him say, well, he doesn't know a lot about politics. We'll teach him how to do politics. You should be mean and say stuff that doesn't even hold together. The whole bit about Poilievre's security clearance and all that, why was that even top of mind for Mark Carney yesterday? The guy's got class. He's got ability, experience, expertise. He's been rising above that sort of partisan fray. And you almost get the impression, Marcia, that he's got, you know, these young folks around him saying, oh, you know, well, we'll teach him, you know, let Carney be Carney. That's been the problem since the beginning.
I want to go back then and ask you about the NDP, the Greens, the Bloc, but specifically the NDP. Is it too late for them to try to insert themselves into this race in a meaningful way so that it is not a two-way race and convince voters to support their way?
As long as the guy with the orange hair south of the border continues to hover above everything, everything's going to come back to that. You want to talk about schools, you want to talk about healthcare, you want to talk about housing, you want to talk about immigration levels, Trump, 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 Trump. And then the only question, the ballot question, to use that expression, is who is the best equipped to deal with Donald Trump? There is a larger pool of potential votes, the universe of potential Liberal voters, because of the fact that the Greens and the NDP tend to be more progressive. There's a bigger pool for Carney and the Liberals to tap into, because Pierre Poilievre has been putting out a very hard-edged right-wing view. There are going to be ads, you'll see them, Marcia, where they take quotes from Trump and quotes from Poilievre, and you'll see them putting them side by side. And that's the real issue of this campaign. Which of those two can handle Trump? Poilievre is saying, Trump doesn't want me because he knows I'm going to be much tougher to fight with. Good line. Is it going to bear out? Is it going to work? To your question, whether the NDP can turn this thing around, it's never over till it's over. I lived that in the 2015 campaign. Things can shift very quickly, but I just don't see, based on my experience and my analysis of what's happening now, what those issues could be that could turn things around for the NDP and get them back into the 20% territory that, you know, traditionally has been the zone. More or less, there have been much better elections like that than like the 2011 Orange Wave, but overall, you know, that 20% zone plus or minus a couple, was the traditional territory for the NDP. And right now, and I don't think you can blame and fault Singh for it personally, but right now, people are just saying, not this time. The issues are too real. The threat is too real. We're going over to Carney's Liberals.
Tom, thanks so much. As always, great to see you. Tom
Good to be with
Mulcair
you.
is CTV's political commentator and the former leader of the NDP, and you can read his piece on CTVNews.ca.